Hello, my name is Joe Eats Zombies, and today I want to have a discussion about the game that just released this week called The Beginner's Guide. Now, before I say anything, I just want you to know this is for people that have already played the game, so go buy it on Steam or watch a Let's Play of it. If you are a person that creates some type of art, or hell, even if you just enjoy some type of art medium, you will resonate with this, so literally everyone should play it. So the reason this game stands out to me is that it's about an hour and a half long, but has been stuck in my head for so much longer than that. And there's a few games that have done something like that to me before. Maybe like BioShock Infinite, Half-Life, Fallout 3, Limbo. But even all those games just made me experience something new or had a story that made me think a lot about life or something that I was going through at the time. But The Beginner's Guide is different than all of those. This game asks some very deep, introspective questions about who you are as a person and makes you think about things that people really do not like to talk about. Even me discussing this game is very hypocritical, considering one of the main points of the game is that we can alienate people by using critical analysis on their work. And I am assuming if you're still listening, you have played the game and know exactly what I mean. But I argue that this game brings up issues that just need to be talked about and reflected over. The main theme of it all is that most of us are seeking some type of external validation in the work that we do. And it comes to a surprise to ourselves when we find someone who is seeking self-validation over the external. After all, most of us seek external validation in order to gain self-validation. You can see this in YouTube videos and tweets and statuses on Facebook. We all want to be told we are pretty and smart and funny, that we are better than others, that we have purpose and our work has purpose. That's just who we are. And Coda himself, I think, begins making games for fun. That really is all of the validation he needs at first, but he is alone, and as a person, he needs some sort of validation. He gets this through reading. I think this is really why the machine stops turning for Coda. He begins to be conscious that someone else will play his game and maybe they will say it's terrible. Just like maybe he is scared that someone will say he's terrible if he chokes up in a conversation. Someone will find out he isn't perfect, so he gets depressed and feels alone and feels betrayed by Reedon, who shows off the games and critiques them while knowing Coda is scared of what other people might say. Artists are always scared of what others will say. Sometimes I think of all the music and books and games and movies that are never made or never shared just because people think their work isn't good enough as others. All the music I've written that I'm too self-conscious to play in front of people. Or even this video that I may or may not post because I know most likely 5 people will see it and most will think it's garbage. I admit I feel alone and depressed to varying degrees, but doesn't everyone? It doesn't matter if you have a wonderful family, friends, or religion, you are still liable to feel alone and isolated in some way. I would think that most gamers often feel this way, along with most people. One way to combat depression is creating art. And the beauty of art happens as you create it and finish it. You get a feeling of self-satisfaction, and it's therapeutic. You want others to experience what you just experienced, so you show it off. And getting feedback is the hardest part of the process, and that part will often beat someone down until they have no motivation left to create. You might retreat back into yourself and feel more alone and down than you had before you created anything. You might have ideas, but when you think about them for a while, you might think they're stupid, so why bother? This is what critiques can do to people, whether or not they're harsh or constructive or even positive. And if you've ever given your opinion out, you're on the other side of the equation. We all have and are a little bit like Reedon. Because as fucked up as Coda may be, there are still signs that he was happy the way he was, and for brief moments in the beginning, he was happy doing something that he loved. Reedon, on the other hand, was never really happy with himself. He represents so many different people and emotions. He's everyone who demands there to be a third Half-Life. He is the one who says games have to be a certain way, and he's the one that posts a comment to an article saying it was poorly written or lacks substance. Reedon is even more alone than Coda, and I think we can all identify with him. He seeks validation from being overly critical of others and finding purpose in things. So literally everyone on the internet. I admit I do that. I'm trying to find the meaning of the game right now, but it might not necessarily have one. It might be just what it is, a game. And I will not even get into whether I think Coda is real or not, because it honestly doesn't matter. It seems a bit obvious that Readin and Coda are the same person, but the dedication to the guy known as R at the end makes me question that, so we will never truly know anyway, and the idea that he represents is more important. What I take away from this is that we as people need to be more empathetic to others and their work. We also need to be not as hard on ourselves when people do not like our own work. So my critical analysis boils down to just that. We need to be less critical. If someone does not want you to critique their work, then do not do it. If they do want to critique, be constructive, be courteous, be empathetic. You cannot know a person fully through their work, but I understand the appeal of trying to do so. I also understand how it is to want positive feedback. Readin asks you to email him because he wants self-validation through external. Just like you will hear every YouTuber ask for comments and then get upset once they read them. It makes me wonder what will be contained in those emails and what they'll be used for, if anything. But that's it. It doesn't have to be used for anything. Maybe it just is. There is significance in how the game ends with you floating over an infinite labyrinth. We are small. The world is large. There is no beginner's guide to life and the questions in it. But maybe it doesn't matter if there is. Players will feel hollow after playing this game. They will give it bad reviews. They will say it isn't a game, say it has no positive message or hope, that it's boring, and Readin might feel bad about those responses. But the game here is worth playing, even if it has no purpose further than self-reflection.